Breaking news: the partisan politics of Washington's war party. Here's a reminder of the harsh reality. The Pentagon's war budget increased by about $50 billion by the time President Joe Biden ended the disastrous Afghan war in 2021. Nearly $50 billion annually was being spent on the Afghan war before the war party in D.C., including Democrats and Republicans, said, "Enough is enough." If a war is finally over, why would that mean more money for the military? The solution is obvious. When the war on terror proved fruitless, the bipartisan war party shifted its focus to the new Cold War with Russia and China. The deal was officially done by early 2022, when Vladimir Putin invaded Ukraine on pretext. Putin's illegal invasion was a huge boon to the military-industrial congressional complex, despite the fact that it was provoked, something NATO itself admits. Since 2021, and, indeed, since 2001 and the original launch of the war on terror, Pentagon war budgets have continued to soar, with no end in sight barring perhaps nuclear Armageddon. It's not a conclusion I'm eagerly anticipating, but there is no other option. You'd think the Democrats' focus would be on assisting ordinary citizens in dealing with poverty and inflation, but instead they're fighting against cuts in military weaponry to Ukraine. A minority of lawmakers in Congress, mostly Republicans, are tiring of the country's massive military aid to Ukraine. However, these same lawmakers are typically in favor of even larger military budgets in order to deter China. However, Democrats are devoting the kind of vigor you'd expect them to devote to assisting Americans in dealing with poverty and inflation to fighting reductions in military weaponry to Ukraine. So, for instance, House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries has stated that increased funding for Ukraine is a top priority for Democrats in the ongoing struggle over electing a new House Speaker. Jeffries also wants the investigation into Joe Biden's possible impeachment to wrap up. While many Americans are struggling to pay for basic necessities like food, housing, and healthcare, Democrats have made increasing military aid to Ukraine a top priority. Give that some consideration. Jeffries is being entirely consistent by pointing out that Congress was ready to keep funding the Ukrainian war effort even if the federal government had shut down. Congress would rather wage an extremely costly and risky proxy war against Russia than aid the millions of Americans who are struggling to pay their food and gas bills. It's no surprise that independents make up the largest political party in the United States. We must support non-party affiliated candidates, such as RFK Jr., Cornel West, or anyone else, and turn our backs on the Democratic and Republican war party. Send the war pigs packing by casting your votes against them. Harrowing perspectives. These views are those of the author alone and do not represent those of the LA Progressive Lieutenant Colonel, USAF, Astor has retired. The University of Oxford awarded him a Doctor of Philosophy in Modern History. Bracing Views regularly publishes his writings.